I'm Barbara Yaffe from the Vancouver Sun, and with me here today is Michael Ignatieff, who's the Liberal leader, of course, the federal Liberal leader. And Michael, I wonder if I can ask you today, you're visiting British Columbia, you've hit 2 ridings, Richmond, and tonight you're going to go to Sunshine Coast, West Vancouver Sunshine Coast, Sea to Sky Country. Tell me if you feel like you're revving up for an election. Do you feel we're in a pre-election mode at this point?
I think we're in a mode in which whenever there's an election, and I don't get to call it, this is up to Mr. Harper, and it's up to the other party leaders. What I want to make sure is that Canadians know what the election is about when it comes. It's a choice between a Harper government and a Liberal alternative, and I want to make sure that that choice is clear. And I want Canadians to understand that we've had 5 years of Mr. Harper, and I don't think the country's in better shape. I think it's in worse shape. So the question is, how do we give Canadians a progressive, moderate, responsible alternative? And that's what I'm doing now.
And there's a lot of speculation by Mr. Harper in particular that you may have a coalition government up your sleeve. Right after a vote, if he doesn't get a majority, he believes, he said today, that you would turn around and organize a coalition government to take office. What's your response to that?
Nothing up my sleeve, Barbara. You can take a look there. Nothing up the sleeve. I'm here to form a Liberal alternative, a Liberal government. I'm proud of what Liberal governments have done for Canada. That's what I'm here to fight for.
Coalition is out.
Coalition is out. I'm here to form a Liberal government.
Okay. Now, from our Twitter correspondence, we have some questions. What, as Prime Minister, would you do to make the taxpayer-funded transfer system for Native people and Native reserves more transparent? And this Twitterer is thinking of things like independent audits to make sure we know where all the money we transfer to the reserves, that we know where it's going. What would your government do to improve on that front?
Well, I'm absolutely convinced we need an Aboriginal auditor so that Aboriginal Canadians get the same value for money as other taxpayers and other citizens. They deserve nothing but the best. They need to know where every dollar is spent and how it's spent and who spends it, and I'd strongly support that.
How do the Liberals plan to oppose the purchase of the F-35 stealth fighter jets?
Well, we've been opposing it since June. We think there ought to be at least a competitive bid. We think if we put it out to competitive tender, we could figure out, A, whether we need this plane, and if we need this plane, I'm sure we could get it at a better price.
So you're not ruling out buying them, but you would just go to tender for them?
We'd go to a competitive bid. We think that this is a plane that's that is untested, untried, and every time you look at it, the costs of it keep increasing. I'm very skeptical, in fact, that if we had a competitive tender, we'd actually end up with an F-35. But I think we should put it out to tender and see where we go, because Canadians ought to know there's some other planes available that might protect our sovereignty just as well.
Okay, final question here from a Vancouver Sun reader. She twitters, I'd really like to know what plans the Liberals have for seniors and allowing them to age at home.
Oh, well, we've got a family care plan which would help families with the expenses of caring for loved ones at home. We think that every Canadian senior wants to stay at home if they can, as long as they can. And then the issue is, how do we help families do that? And we're the only party with a family care plan. It's something I'm very proud of.
You have so many things going for you. I'm wondering, Mr. Ignatieff, why it is that the polls are not kinder to you. You're at 12% approval rating for leadership, while Harper and Layton are at 26%, both of them. What is holding you back, do you think?
The polls are sometimes up and down, but look, the Canadian people have been incredibly kind to me. I mean, I have to tell you, but you may not believe it, but everywhere I go, people are happy to see me, glad to see me. I love being with the Canadian people, listening. I was doing an event earlier today. I'll be doing another one tonight. This is a wonderful place to do politics, and I feel privileged to be here.
Okay, well, thanks very much.
Thank you.